Hello and welcome to my latest mod reveal. I've just completed a little mess about with this control pad. As you can see, it's got minute grub screws in the centres, and you must be wondering, what are they about? That's not got it, that's just a bare analog stick that's got no spring tension modification in it. This one has got the Xbox One Elite Series 2 sticks in there with the little tension spring in the middle. Right, let me just, that's zero tension. Or standard tension, should I say. It has tension on it. But that's with the grub screw wound in, utilising the Xbox Series 2 technology. I think that's a 5mm long M3 grub screw, that one. Oh, it's not coming out. Oh, I don't want to lose it, so I'm just going to leave it in there. Just wind it in until it touches the tip of the piston. Get rid of that. I was going to do an internal reveal, but I decided against it with what I've had to do. And because while I was messing about in it, I destroyed the ribbon cable fingers, so I had to replace them. I had to replace that one. Right, let's get this one over the back there, stick that there with its rubber infill caps and the overcaps that I made on my mould rig, all calibrated. And what shall I do with this one? How to unravel this video. Right, let's put that. Organise. When I had this pad apart, there's one internal screw, so you've got 4 on the back and one on the main board that screws it together. I'd lost the bloody thing. Guess where it was? Stuck to the speaker housing. I thought I was going mad. Anyway, what we got? How have I made the little adapters? Well, what we got here? This is a 2.4mm drill bit, and that is the little metal insert, which, let's just put that to one side, looks like that. 3mm flat sides, 4mm pop rivet it was, 4mm out of diameter. And what do they look like before I'd done anything to it? They look like that. Now these are scrappy ones I found over a car boot. The guy said I could have them, but I gave him 40p for a bag of 19. Ideally, I think they should have been stainless steel, because these have served the purpose of seeing if the concept will work, but I'm not sure if they're going to corrode inside it. So what you do is you take a tool or something. Right, let's try not to smash everything off the table. Give it a good tap. Get off. There you go. Remove the mandrel. The mandrel. Remove that, and then you have got centre of a pop rivet. You've got to drill the centre hole out to 2.5mm. Tap it through squarely. You can stick that in the end of a chuck of a drill, and the drill bit in another drill. Lay them both on the floor, and then wind this onto the M3 thread, M3 tap, at torque setting 3, I think it is, on my Makitas, and that will hold this, stop it from rotating in the jaws, and tap through the hole. And when you're at that point, let's move around to another device I made. It's a lump of ply, and I drilled a 3mm, what did I do, 3mm hole? Yeah, I drilled a 3mm hole in it to start with. And I just so happened to have my capping scraper that just so happened to be 0.5mm thick. So I laid that on there, got my drill bit and drilled it in there with this clamped flat to it, so that that would start the whole location at 3mm because it's a 3mm thread. Then I got my 4mm drill bit, because in order to get this to sit in there it needs to be a 4mm hole. I then clamped that plate set back from the edge with a metal lump on top projecting over to here, and then 4mm it, bored it. It's not an exact science, but it worked. Once you've got it in this position and you've got a thread in it, I just took one of the old crappy screw threads I've got. You wind that in there halfway, then poke it in the hole. Poke it in the hole. That piece of thread will sit in that back slot and it will stop it from flapping around all over the place. And then you take your file and you file it off until you've got a flat one side, and you can just about see or start to see, where is it? Just about start to see the internal threads. Let's see if I can turn this over on camera without. Oh Christ, I don't know what way around it is now. Can we see? Camera mount. Focus, you. Anyway, trust me, both sides are just showing the thread, and that's 3mm. Yeah, once you've got it that way, then you can turn the whole thing over, and then it's fun and games trying to get it started to be flat in a parallel to the opposite side. You have to get your dial calipers on it and keep checking it and rotating the thing and trying to hold the thing up with your fingernail and get more off of one side. And then when you've got to a point where you're happy it's close to that 3mm, then you can take, I don't know, a flat piece of metal, keeping it on its threaded arbor, rub it back and forwards gently until it starts to show the threads evenly both sides, and then check it's 3mm. And this, got to make sure that this is not more than 4mm in diameter when you do it, because it will be stupidly tight otherwise. I think it's something like 9.6 something or 5, I can't remember what it is in imperial inch, but you don't want to be any bigger than the 4mm really, because it will not want to go in to the analog sticks or it will shear the walls up. Anyway, let's put that to one side and move along. Right, what else can I show? I'm surrounded by tools and bits and bobs, I keep getting lost. What was this? This was one of the first ones I used, and this one ended up failing because I'd put my little adapter in so many times and pushed it home really tight with a piece of thread in it, and I used that to push it in deep because they are quite tight even at 4mm diameter. And I have studied the diameter of that. It does say 4mm, but then again it's plastic, so it's a little bit softer. Anyway, I had to push that full depth in there without the grub screw in it, as you can see I've put in there. Then 2.4mm drill through the middle, not to disturb all the freshly made threads, because if you run the 2.5 through again it will push all the threads back outwards slightly, because it tolerances are a little bit off once you've done a tap. Yeah, because I run so many taps through the top of this, the thread failed and the little grub screw just popped up out the top because the spring inside the pad had defeated the plastic thread at the top end. What's this? That is the setup I did. 4mm. You can see it's slightly over, so spin the whole thing in a drill with the diamond file. Find a nice small diamond file, just to something like this. That'll work, just to make sure it's a 4mm diameter piece to work with. That was the stainless steel with the 9.6mm sellotape wrapped bearings. They were 9mm bearings, and that was the bolt version variant with the metal cap in there. But I thought, I wonder if it can actually be done on a standard stick any easier, but it's not quite that easy. Now, what am I doing? Going into a mumble session. What do I need to do? Right, get rid of that tool. I need to climb it to tidy up my space. That's what I need. Ah yes, that's what I was going to show. Right, taking both of these pads. Let's shine it up towards daylight. Let's see if this can work. Because they've both lost their tops, you can just see daylight on the one on the right over the cap, the stick, when I've got it slitting flat. It might be like 0.2mm in it. Trying to get them to equalised height. I don't know how important it is, because it's a completely different type of stick unit, isn't it? But compared to this Alps one, using the Elite Series 2 screw core, I don't know if they've used the base and then just replaced the pin with a new mechanism, so everything's sitting at the same heights and everything's soldered onto the boards at the same heights and all the rest of it. There's no guarantee that that's all going to be the same mechanically. But what I should have done is I should have sourced some decent premium Elite Series 2 sticks. I think I got the rubbishy third party ones because they've got the plastic pivot there, not the metal one that you can buy, which I think was the original one, and that's more quality for the Xbox side of them. So I want get 2 of those and some Jinful sides replacements, Hall Effect sides, stainless steel rivets about 8mm long, and the height that I ended up with on this was 4.7 from the top to the little shelf. And also you want to make sure that you grind the radial, this top radial, to 6mm to get rid of that little shelf there. Look, because it's gives you another, I don't know, whatever fractions of millimeters depth there for your measurement. The ones inside here, they're a total of 5.7 long. 5.7 long from bottom to the top piece. But these ones I just made are, what was it? It was 4.7, 5.5 total height. So it's 0.2 short of these two. I say 2, where's the other one? 2, because the other one's in there. And all of that will allow you your stick tension control. Let me just poke this back together as intended. Alright. Little silicone fingers. As you can see, that's got bubbles in it because it was one of my really early moulded versions. I've since got a pressure pot to remove all the bubbles. 40 psi. So as you can see, you can get to your tension spring through there. Fuck's sake, I'm going to drop it. There we go. Get to it there. And that's what? That's a 5mm hole because it was originally created for those. And that's a thread mount, 5mm. And then you take whatever cap you want. Come on. What's going on with that? Looks and feels about right to me. Right, let's put them on. Just that one. And as these were the early ones, you see it just went on there quite easy. The ones with the 40 psi, the little pins are slightly wider in diameter because once you take it out of the pressure, it wants to expand. So they fit a lot firmer, but it doesn't really matter anyway because you're going to be using it with caps over the top. Otherwise, they just fall off. May fall off. They shouldn't do if they're the right form and fit. There you go. And how much different, oh come on, ow, how much different in height is it now? And there you go, they will be a different height yet again, dependent on if you use it with or without the infill and whatever cap you select. So I've tried to make it bog standard the same. So if you use a couple of these ordinary sticks and you just drill all the way through and then add the little grub screw straight through the top of the rubber, that the height will be exactly the same for the response curve and your muscle memory. And that is probably one of the best modifications you could do to a DualShock 4. And I think my battery in this is now starting to balloon because it's so old, because it was a version 1 Gen 001 JDM 001, so it was a launch model control pad, and all this case is all cracking because it was third party mod. It's a museum piece really, and a conceptual working. Well, that's enough of me waffling on. I completely minced that video up. Thanks for watching, and if you decide to do that, good luck, because it's a big pain in the bum.